best wide-angle lens for underwater photography. If I had to choose and I could only get one lens, for me, it'd have to be a fisheye lens.
Fisheye.
Fisheye.
Fisheye lens.
Fisheye. Fisheye, rectilinear.
Rectilinear.
A rectilinear lens.
There is no one good answer to that. It will depend a lot on what you shoot.
The best wide-angle lens for underwater photography is all about what your camera supports. I shoot a lot of smaller, compact, and action cameras, so things like Olympus TG, some of the Olympus Pen and EM5, OM cameras, iPhone, GoPro. These all require kind of different specialized wide-angle optics. You know, on the other hand, you've got big full-frame systems and cameras that have much heavier duty lenses. So you've got a variety of options, but it really comes down to your rig and what's going to give you the sharpest, widest field of view possible. Because what we really want to do in underwater photography is get as close to our subject as we can to shoot through the least amount of water. The wider your lens, the closer you can get to the subject and the more the scene you'll be able to see.
Well, the best wide-angle lens for underwater photography, I think that's kind of a tough question because it really depends on the look you're after. So fisheye lenses are super popular. They're really wide. They go to 180 degrees. You're able to get super, super close on the subject, get a lot of color on them, get a lot of detail. For other wide-angle stuff where I would usually use like a rectilinear lens behind a traditional dome, I don't shoot those very often anymore. I typically shoot a water contact optic, like the WACPs or the WWLs from Nauticam. Those optics correct for a lot of the problems that you get with a traditional dome. They will give you better corners, just sharper corners, overall better image, and they also are wider than most of the traditional lenses that you would put behind a traditional dome.
I love fisheye wide-angle photography. You can get really close to your subject, so your strobes light the subject really well, but you still get the big picture. And so we can do close focus wide angle, which is kind of the mainstay with underwater photography. And fisheye lens, you can also do splits. You can do over-under shots real easily because of its huge depth of field.
I think the best wide-angle lens for video would start around 15 millimeters, 16. If you're using like a WACP, could be the 18, like Sigma 1835. It's really, really good. It needs to be kind of rectilinear. It can be have that fisheye distortion like in stills, because in video you need to be more like what we see, and we don't see the image distorted.
So the best wide-angle lens is, for me, is kind of a difficult one because I'm a huge fan of close focus wide-angle, and for that, you really need a fisheye. You need that perspective distortion. I like that drama that a fisheye brings. But if I'm shooting under a pier, someplace with recognizable verticals or geometry, then I want a rectilinear lens. I want something that's not going to be all bendy and obviously distorted.
The best wide-angle lens to me is the 815 Nikon or 10.5 Nikon or 10/17 Tokina.
The best wide-angle lens for underwater photography is the best one that you can afford, and the one that works best for you and the way that you want to shoot. What's great about the Nauticam system is we make so many different of our water contact optics that really handle everything from compact systems up to cinema systems. Not only do we have the water contact optics, which take a standard zoom lens and basically turn it into an ultra-wide zoom-through lens. Some of them can even be removed underwater and replaced with a macro optic. We also support a variety of lenses from regular SLR and mirrorless lenses to cinema lenses with a variety of domes and different sizes, glass, acrylic. So it's really what your budget can handle and the results you want to get, whether close focus is important to you, whether ultra wide angle is important to you, whether you're fisheye, rectilinear. That's one of the great things about the system is we basically accommodate everything. So kind of know your shooting style and the subject matter that you're going to hopefully film or capture, and choose the appropriate one based on that and the lens selection that you have at your disposal.